Welcome, everyone, to the NoDQ.com live recap of AEW Dynamite for June 25th, 2025. We have All In now, just a few weeks away. We are on the final countdown to AEW's biggest event of the year, their WrestleMania All In Texas. Now, we started off with an unexpected moment. We had a brawl backstage. Toni Storm was arriving to the arena and she was attacked by the TBS champion, Mercedes Moné, the challenger for Toni's women's world title. Mercedes dragged her out to the stage, called her a little bitch. Officials had to come out there and get Mercedes away. Then we had Mina Shirakawa coming out there. Mercedes got on the mic. She said, "Let the games begin." They did confirm that next week on the 300th episode of Dynamite, that's crazy that we've already had 300 episodes of Dynamite. Next week, it will be Mercedes one-on-one with Mina. I like the segment to open up the show, a little bit of unpredictability, a little bit of chaos, and we were just getting started because we had the Young Bucks on the big screen, and they said that the scheduled tag team match with Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland was supposed to be in the second hour, but they were bumping it to the first match of the night. Will Ospreay actually was not out there right away. His music played, several seconds passed by, maybe 20 seconds, and then he finally came out there. He ran down to the ring. He was taping up his wrist, lacing up his boots as he got into the ring. I liked this. I would have been mad if Ospreay's music hit and he just immediately came out there. This would be something WWE would do. And I like the fact that he actually did not come out there right away, like he was actually unprepared for this. Stuff like this, I encourage WWE and AEW. I want things to feel a little bit more organic and also a little bit out of control, like it's not scripted, like things are just happening on the spur of the moment. I'm a fan of this kind of stuff, and I hope AEW does more of it in the future. We had this tag match, Ospreay and Swerve Strickland against Blake Christian and Lee Johnson. Obviously, you know who's winning this one. Ospreay had a black eye, by the way, from the spiked shoe attack the other week, courtesy of the Young Bucks. We had a little bit of a distraction from the Bucks. They showed up on the stage to help out Blake and Lee get some offense in, but ultimately they were not winning this. Swerve got the 1-2-3 with the house call kick, and then the Young Bucks brought security out there. Swerve Strickland got on the mic and said that he didn't want to wait anymore. They want to take care of this EVP problem. They issued a challenge for All In tag team match, and Will Ospreay said that they wanted to up the stakes. They want the EVP titles on the line, meaning the positions of EVP. Swerve did a dive over the top rope onto security, and Ospreay took out security as well. Young Bucks ran away, and then backstage, the Young Bucks said that Will Ospreay was going to be suspended without pay, and then we had Okada and the Don Callis family coming over. Matthew said that they all had the same goal. And then he gave a pep talk to Trent, who was scheduled for a match with the returning Kota Ibushi. And then Takeshita came in and had a little face-off with Okada and said that this was all temporary. So they're planting the seeds for something with those guys in the future. Now, as far as this whole segment went, I thought it was fine, although I'm wondering what will Ospreay and Swerve put up in exchange for the Bucks putting up their EVP power. That remains to be seen, and I also feel like this tag match is going to overshadow the Hurt Syndicate at All In. We'll talk more about the Hurt Syndicate in a few moments. Like if Ospreay and Swerve put up their careers, like why would AEW do that? Risk losing two of their biggest stars. So I'm not really sure what they can put up in the storyline. Realistically, what I would have liked to have seen, they should have planned this out a while back. I know it wasn't going to happen, but actually have Swerve and Ospreay win the tag team titles. It might have been Swerve that they said was suspended. I'm not even sure at this point. But I really need to be able to have a stipulation that makes sense here. And if they do the careers, then I feel like everybody comes off looking foolish. Like, why would AEW sign off on this? Why would Tony Khan sign off on it, losing their biggest stars? It's got to make sense, whatever they end up coming up with. And surely the EVPs are not going to voluntarily put up their EVP spots. We'll see what they come up with. We had a video package of Ibushi's return. He's been gone a while. He's back. He had a match with Trent. You had the outside interference from Rocky Romero. It was competitive. They did trade some near falls, but, it's Ibushi's first match back, so he's obviously not losing this one. Ibushi picked up the win with the knee strike, and then afterwards, Okada came out there, had a little stare down with Ibushi, and then they announced a match with these guys for next week. It will be on the 300th episode of AEW Dynamite in Ontario, California, not too far from Rancho Cucamonga, where the Young Bucks are from, basically their hometown. It's all San Bernardino County, Riverside County area. We had Jon Moxley cutting another one of his rambling promos. He was in a stairwell. He basically said Adam Page is afraid to become what the world wants him to be, and said Page will have to start looking for another job after All In. We then had Ricochet approaching AR Fox about potentially joining his group, and this set up a tag team match. Ricochet and AR Fox against Speedball Mike Bailey and the Jet Kevin Knight. They're known as Jet Speed. Things quickly broke down with all four guys in the ring. Jet Speed was working well together. Ricochet and AR Fox did get the upper hand for a while, but then, of course, they started having the issues, the miscommunication. Fox needed a tag, and Ricochet just blew him off, walked away, left his partner high and dry, and then Kevin Knight. This is why we don't give guys the same names in promotions. That exact reason right there. Kevin Knight pinned AR Fox with the frog splash that he changes direction midair. I think they call it the UFO splash. This was fine for what it was. Ricochet's trying to recruit, and we'll see if he can find some guys that'll team up with him. Maybe he'll find some lackeys. After the match was over, Tony Schiavone spoke to Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight, not LA Knight. And they talked about how the tag team titles have been held hostage for too long, and they're coming for them at All In. Hurt Syndicate attacked them from behind. MVP and MJF brought out a table. Bobby Lashley slammed Bailey through the through the table. Knight had been placed on the table, so Bailey was slammed through the table with Knight on it. And then the Hurt Syndicate had their music play. We heard people. They came into the ring and cut a promo. MVP wanted somebody to step up to the tag team champions and said that if Jet Speed could stand up, they'll give them a match at All In. Then MJF spoke, and MVP was getting mad about the crowd booing, made a reference to I think it's the Supersonics, the sports team, basketball, I think. MJF talked about how he's going to enter a qualifying match next week for the Casino Gauntlet and come one step closer to becoming world champion again. Then we had Mark Briscoe come out there and said that MJF was taking too long and they needed to leave the ring so Briscoe could have his match. And MJF said they could take as much time as they want because they are actually stars. Ouch. And he said the people are ugly and poor in the crowd, just like Mark Briscoe. And Briscoe's going to lose like he always does. And he called him a blue-collar bitch. Then Briscoe responded by saying the word of the day was empathy. And he thinks the reason MJF is with the Hurt Syndicate is because MJF actually has a tiny kosher pickle in his pants. And MJF did a great job here, just outraged that he would say this, kind of like when The Miz would be mad that people said he had tiny balls. And the crowd started chanting kosher pickle at MJF. And MVP finally had enough of this, said they'll go to the back and watch Mark Briscoe lose, which tells me when I'm watching this, well, I guess Mark Briscoe's actually winning a match because they made such a big deal out of him never winning. He had to win here. So it kind of gave away, interestingly enough, it kind of just gave away the four-way match, made it very obvious that Mark Briscoe was winning. We had a four-way, Briscoe versus Bandido versus Roderick Strong versus Takeshita. First person gets the number one spot in the Casino Gauntlet match at All In. And in this case, the number one spot is supposed to be an advantage because the match can end at any time. First person to score a fall wins the match, even if people are still yet to enter the match. It actually is a benefit to enter first, although I don't think anybody's won at number one, but I'm not really sure on that one. I just don't recall. Somebody let me know if somebody in the number one spot has actually won a Casino Gauntlet. I mean, there's been a bunch of them, so I may have missed something. Anyways, this was a pretty good match with these four. I mean, not really any dull moments in this one. Lots of action. Crowd was chanting AEW. Bandido and Briscoe were doing some dueling moves together, like the frog splash and the froggy elbow. And then Briscoe and Bandido went at it for a while. Takeshita then gave a double German suplex to both of them. Then Takeshita hit the Blue Thunder Bomb to Roderick Strong and won the match. No, he didn't. Blue Thunder Bomb doesn't get the win in WWE or AEW. Then Bandido wiped out Takeshita, took him out. Then Strong hit the end of Heartache to Bandido, but then Briscoe came off the top rope and won with the froggy elbow. No surprise here after all that talk about Briscoe never winning. He finally wins a match and gets the number one spot in the Casino Gauntlet. It was a good match, predictable after what they did in the previous segment, but good stuff. And the Hurt Syndicate, to me, was once again maybe the highlight of the show. I mean, I've always been enjoying them since they came into AEW. I do want to see something with MVP and MJF and, take this to the next level. I don't know if MJF's going to split from them, but I'm waiting on something. I feel like this is all leading to a split, but maybe they're going to be together for a long time. Who knows? Next up, we had the other Casino Gauntlet qualifying match where the winner gets the number one spot in the women's Casino Gauntlet. We had Kris Statlander versus Athena making a rare appearance on Dynamite. Thunder Rosa also making a rare appearance on Dynamite these days. And Willow Nightingale. And they did the four-way powerbomb superplex in the corner, which always gets the big crowd pop. It was a solid match. another good match here on the show. Willow was on the verge of winning. So what happened was Athena suplexed Rosa off the steps onto the floor, and that basically took them out of the equation. And then Willow was about to beat Statlander, but then Marina Shafir showed up for a distraction. Wheeler Yuta attempted to attack Willow, but he got attacked by her. She wiped him out with the pounce, period. But then Statlander took advantage and got the 1-2-3 victory to pick up the win and get the number one spot in the Casino Gauntlet. This is fine. I mean, it's filler. It is what it is. You know, they're setting up the gauntlet matches for All In. It's just time filler, but it was good. It was a good match. And then we had a segment with FTR backstage, and I guess they're feuding with the Outrunners now. So much for the Edge and Christian reunion, although I'm thinking it'll still come, but looks like for the time being, Christian is doing this storyline with Nick Wayne, which I really don't care about. I think they should have just broken them up, turned Christian face, but Christian probably knows he's got more career longevity if he stays a heel and stretches out the reunion with Cope. They can do that at any time. I thought they were going to do it at All In, but doesn't look like they're pulling the trigger on that. To me, the Outrunners are so 6 months ago. I don't care about this. It's a filler Collision storyline to me. We then had our main event of the evening, Hangman Adam Page versus Mr. Sasha Banks, the Beast Mordos. He's dating her, and now he's getting the main event spots. Go figure. But it was a good match. Predictable. Page ain't losing this one, but it was a solid match, hard-hitting match with these two. Mordos got in his offense before ultimately falling to the buckshot lariat. And after the match, we got the big angle to close out the show. The lights went out. When they came back on, it was the Bucks. They had Page in the position for the BTE trigger, and they took him out with it. Death Riders with Moxley came out there to finish off Page. Moxley had the chain. He was choking out Page. The Ops, Samoa Joe, Shibata, and Powerhouse Hobbs all came out there, but they were outnumbered. Then Will Ospreay ran out there and made the save. Still no Swerve Strickland, so they're really, taking their time with this one as far as when we eventually get the Swerve and Page tag team. You have to know that it's coming when they do the blood and guts match, which I think is inevitable at this point. The fact that they had all these guys out there, I mean, I really feel like that's what they're building towards, the blood and guts match, probably after All In. And that was the end of the show. So overall, I thought Dynamite was good. I will say this. I think Dynamite has been very consistent. Like, I don't think it's been great. I know some people are really trying to push the narrative. I've seen it on social media. People are trying to say, yeah, AEW's back on the rise. It's back to the glory days. I would not go that far. Like, I think the pay-per-views are great. The TV has been solid. Like, this is another 6. And I looked back. I've been giving it a 6 for the past several weeks now. It's been good. Dynamite is a good wrestling show, and there were a few things they did this week that I did like. I think they still need to work on the predictability of the matches. Pretty much every match on the card, I can call the winner before it happens. I think they need to work on that. But besides that, the matches are good, and it was solid build-up for All In, and even what I think is build up for Blood and Guts coming up whenever that's going to happen. Solid 6. All In is shaping up nicely. I'm disappointed about the FTR storyline, but it is what it is. They got a solid card, actually a very strong card. The Okada Omega match should be an all-time classic. And you got the Mercedes versus Tony Storm match, which could, and I think it will be, the biggest women's match in the history of the company. So yeah, they do have some momentum with that, but you look at the ticket sales, they're still struggling to fill up that stadium for All In. I mean, it's a respectable number. They'll hit 20,000, but they haven't even come close to selling it out. And you know, some people are like, yeah, they're gonna pack this place for their first stadium show in the U.S., and it just hasn't happened. I don't necessarily see the signs that they're turning around, other than they've been consistent, and I think they've risen a little bit. I think they bottomed out last year, and now they're like slowly building up a little bit of momentum. But I think people are a little quick to say, oh yeah, AEW's back to where they were in 2021. I don't see them at that level quite yet, but maybe they can get there at some point down the line. I hope they can. That's all I got for tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching, as always. I very much appreciate your viewership and support. And if you enjoy the video, please spread the word. Tell a friend about the channel. We have lots of content up, the live streams, the No DQ Roundtable videos, and there's plenty more to come with that. And we got wrestling's hottest audacious takes. More of those to come. Tell a friend and check out the predictions video for Night of Champions, which is taking place in Saudi Arabia, Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Enjoy the rest of your week, everyone. Say yes to No DQ, and I will see you all next time.